Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We're talking Friday, July 18th. Happy Friday, everybody. Baseball is back. The Dawn Report is back. We are past the All-Star break, ready for the second half of baseball. Very excited for how things are going to go. I'm going to have 5 home run picks for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. Obviously, with it being the first game back after a break, and we don't have a lot of pitchers confirmed as starting for today. A lot of them are rumored. It's a weird day, so I'm playing it light. Again, 5 guys total. We'll give you my 3 favorite at the beginning. Before we get into that, we do have to do a recap. Last time you saw me was the last day before the All-Star break. It was Sunday, and that was a really good day. We got 2 guys to hit a home run. We got 1 guy refunded. So we ended the day, because of those 2 home runs, up 1.1 units. It was a nice day getting Randy Arozarena, getting the Rafael the Ninja Turtle to hit home runs. It did bring us in the green on the year, which was very exciting. We were able to enter the All-Star break profitable for the year. Obviously, very, very slightly profitable, up 0.19 units. But, you know, with that stretch we went on for like 8 weeks from April to June, I'm just happy to see green on the board for if you're following my unit size guiding. Now you're sitting pretty if you're putting 1 unit on every single one, but that number is inflated because it's all based on the beginning of July when we went on this hot streak, when I started spraying the board. So the numbers are going to look better than really they should. But all in all, I'm pleased, content, I should say, with how things are going. In terms of today, there are some good weather games. Coors Field is good. Nats Park is good. The Bank is good. And then the Ray Stadium and Dodger Stadium are all the ones in the green. Dome at the Ranger Stadium, which is a slight hitter's park, is good. Slightly green at Truist Park as well. But again, it's a weird slate with not a lot of pitchers confirmed. So I'm playing it a little bit light. And there's mostly agreement across the board on which weather games are good. Now, Coors is one you're going to want to avoid. It's the temperatures are not, they're not cold, but they're not in the 90s like they have been. And winds blowing in at Coors is a no touch for me. But they like the Nats one slightly. They disagree on the Phillies one, so there is a little bit of a disagreement there. All in all, again, it's a weird slate. I'm playing it light. Might as well get started with my first play. And it's James Wood to hit a home run. I am taking him he's at plus 500 odds at Bet365. Part of the reason why I like this play a lot is we're getting James Wood at plus 500. And, you know, before the All-Star break, James Wood was in the low 4s, high 3s in terms of what he was offered. And, I mean, he's just been fantastic. Obviously, we don't have any recent form to go off with these guys. You hope Wood didn't ruin his swing during the home run derby. He only made it 1 round, so I don't really put that much emphasis in that. And you take a step back, and Wood's been fantastic. You look at barrel rate on the year, he is tied with Seiya Suzuki with the 7th, 8th best barrel rate in the entire MLB. He's got a barrel rate of 18.5%. Anything that is 15% and above in terms of barrel rate is considered excellent from Fangraphs metrics. So he's one of 22 batters that has a barrel rate 15% or higher. And then in terms of ISO rate, Fangraphs also considers ISO rate anything 250 and above to be considered excellent. ISO rate stands for isolated power. It's not really predictive, it's reactive. It's like how much has this person hit for power. So this is just telling you that he's been a really good power hitter the first half of the year with his ISO rate at 256. So those 2 numbers, there are not a lot of guys with both an excellent barrel rate and ISO rate. Now, Wood is obviously better against right-handed pitching. He's going to be facing a righty in Dylan Cease. Cease has not been good this year. You see that he's given up a home run every 24 at-bats to lefties on the year. You say, well, that's not terrible. But you look at his last 5 starts, and that's when he's really, really struggled. Home run every 18 at-bats in his last 5 starts. He's been throwing the fastball more and more to lefties, which is a concern because the fastball gets hit hard. The slider also gets hit hard, and in the knuckle curve, he has a lot of home run, but that's like 8% of his pitch mix, so not really a ton there. For whatever reason, Game Day Insights is missing a lot of data, so they didn't pull anything for James Wood. But I can tell you, James Wood has fantastic numbers against the four-seam fastball, not so much the slider. If you look at him on the year on the slider, he hasn't been as good, but you look at him according to Plate IQ, on the entire year against the slider. They have his barrel rate at 33%, which that sounds good, but the reason why his hitting numbers aren't fantastic is because he hits a lot of ground balls, admittedly, 60% ground ball rate against the slider. His ISO rate is at 200, which is okay, but it's not fantastic, and he strikes out a decent amount. So this is more so backing James Wood against the four-seam fastball, which he hits really well. You look at him against the four-seamer, it's an A. Not so good against the slider, but an A against the four-seam fastball. And Cease has been throwing the four-seamer more and more to lefties, and he has really struggled recently. I mean, you look at these numbers. The fly ball plus line drive rate, 55%, is not good. Hard hit rate is high. Barrel rate at 9% is not good. Pretty bad numbers across the board, and we're getting Wood at plus 500 against a pitcher that gives up a lot of home runs to lefties. I just think that it is a really good price that we're getting on Wood, and obviously there's a ton of context needed to odds and stuff, and part of the way things are priced is just because we don't have any recent form. If he was cold, 500 would be fine. If he was red hot, 500 would be a gift. So kind of got to take that with a grain of salt. That's why I'm playing the slate light. But my first play and my first of my three favorites is James Wood at plus 500. Next up, we're sticking in the same game here, and we're going with Jackson Merrill to hit a home run. He is best offered at FanDuel at plus 520. So Ballpark Pal has Jake Irving listed as the starter. That's not the case. It's going to be Michael Soroka. Basically, every source has updated it for Michael Soroka, which is fine for us because Soroka is a home run guy to lefties. But I love getting 520 odds at FanDuel. I already mentioned this is a good weather game, plus 11% according to Ballpark Pal, and Weather Edge also slightly liked it as well. Now, Merrill has spent, admittedly, the majority of this season being ice cold at the plate, but he has shown some signs of life. Granted, it was like the literal last game of the break, before the break. He hit 2 home runs. Both of those home runs were hit off of Zach Wheeler. And Jackson Merrill was phenomenal at the beginning of the year. Then he spent some time on the injured reserve list. He hurt his hamstring, and then I believe he had a concussion. Really hasn't found his swing consistently. But like I mentioned, like his last start, he was fantastic. So we are putting some emphasis on that. And we're fading this pitcher. Don't let the last 5 starts tell you anything about Michael Soroka. The numbers are pulling weird here. You look at him on the season. You look at him this year. Home run every 18 at-bats. Granted, I'm not sure what sample size they're pulling for this from this, but you look at Michael Soroka and you look at him, you look at his splits according to FanGraphs, because, again, something's funky with the Game Day Insights numbers. You look at his splits, 8 home runs allowed to left-handed hitters, only 2 to righties. And all his numbers across the board are worse against lefties. Average, on-base percentage, slugging, WOBA. You go down to his home run per 9, 1.95 against lefties is very, very bad. And we know Soroka, the issue for him is the four-seam fastball. 6 of the 8 home runs allowed to left-handed hitters have been hit off of his four-seamer. And when Merrill's on, he hits the four-seam fastball really well. So that's kind of what we are hoping for here, is that Jackson Merrill is going to start hitting the four-seamer like he did at the beginning of the year. Both home runs he hit off of Zach Wheeler were hit off of the four-seam fastball. 100 miles an hour off the bat, 104 miles an hour off the bat, traveled 402 feet. So that's kind of what we're hoping for Jackson Merrill, is that we're catching him on a hot streak. Obviously, 5 days off, who knows how that's going to impact him. So we'll have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But you look at his numbers over the last month against righties. 9% barrel rate is not terrible. 46% hard hit rate is not terrible. Fly ball rate at 46% is pretty good. You look at it against the four-seamer, the fly ball rate is high, the barrel rate is high, but the hard hit rate is low. But again, it's all about what he did in that last start. So Jackson Merrill, I think, is worth a sprinkle. Again, we're playing this light, and we're getting him at plus 520 odds, which I do really, really like. And then my third of my 3 favorites is, I already kind of hinted at it a little bit when I went to FanGraphs. It's Spencer Torkelson to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 375 odds at Bet365. So the shortest odds that I am playing today is Torque at plus 375. The biggest thing for Torque, so Patrick Corbin is pitching for the Rangers. Corbin is not traditionally a home run guy. He's been one of the worst pitchers in baseball for like 6 years. He hasn't been terrible this year, but as he hasn't been terrible, he's started to allow more home runs. So it's kind of like a give and take for Corbin. And Torkelson is almost an auto bet when he's facing left-handed pitching. This is what I'm showing you here are his splits versus righties versus lefties. That that ISO rate against lefties, 367. That would put him up with like Aaron Judge in terms of ISO rate. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that he's as good as Aaron Judge. I'm saying that when he faces left-handed pitching, that's how hard and how much power he hits for against lefties. WOBA 403 is fantastic. An OPS over 1 is fantastic. Slugging of 622 is fantastic. WRC plus. I mean, all these numbers are really, really good. Surprise, surprise. Torque is really good against left-handed pitching. Now you look at Patrick Corbin and you look at him on the year against righties. Home run every 28 at-bats. He's allowed 9 home runs. So he's not terrible. Sierra is bad. The barrel rate is not horrible at 6.61%. The hard hit rate, again, not horrible. But the line drive plus fly ball rate is pretty high. And the pitch mix, it's all his top 3 pitches, which is like 90% of his pitch mix, the slider, the sinker, and the cutter. And you look at Torkelson against lefties. His numbers are fantastic. 14% barrel rate over the last month, 44% hard hit rate, and that fly ball rate. Really good. You look at him on the year, basically the last 3 months, really good numbers against lefties. And then you look at those pitch mix, the slider, the sinker, and the cutter, and the numbers for Torque are really good. 14% barrel rate, 47% hard hit rate, 40% fly ball rate. And those are the pitches that get hit the hardest for Patrick Corbin. So we're paying for it a little bit with the short odds at plus, where am I going? Plus 375. Torque was red hot heading into the All-Star break. So again, you hope he just didn't cool off a little bit. But this one is absolutely worthy of a play. This is my third of my 3 favorites. And then my last 2, we are heading back to the Padres game, and I'm just loading up on lefties. Gavin Sheets and Jake Cronenworth. We're taking both of them to hit home runs. And we're getting a really good price on both of them, which is part of the reason why I'm taking it. Gavin Sheets is at plus 560 at FanDuel, and Cronenworth is at plus 680 at FanDuel. Both of them are, all 3 of these plays, actually all 4 if you also consider Wood. All 4 of these plays in this Nats Padres game are slightly positive EV according to Ballpark Pal. 500 for James Wood, 520 for Jackson Merrill, 560 for Gavin Sheets, 680 for Jake Cronenworth. Granted, the pitching matchup is different, so take that with a grain of salt, but the Wood one is at least there. And I already talked about how how Michael Soroka is the pitcher for the Nats who gets lit up by lefties and whose pitch issue is the four-seam fastball. And if you look at a wide sample size, the best numbers against the four-seamer from lefties is actually Gavin Sheets mostly. 10.91% barrel rate. The hard hit rate at 58% is really good. The fly ball rate at 39% is respectable. That's all over the last 3 months. Over the last 2 months, it's still Gavin Sheets. Really good numbers across the board. The last month, he hasn't been as great. He slowed down a little bit over the last month, but Cronenworth has fantastic numbers in that stretch. So it's kind of like if you look at the last month, you would go with Cronenworth. If you look at a bigger sample size, you would go with Sheets. Since, I like both matchups, I'm just taking both of them. But the last month for Cronenworth, 15% barrel rate, 52% hard hit rate, 42% fly ball rate, and no strikeouts. He makes contact every single time. Now, he hasn't hit a home run, admittedly, but all these numbers across the board are really, really good. You look at like the EV, 103, 101, 96, 103, 104. There was a flyout that traveled 400 feet. There's a double that was 106.7 miles per hour off the bat. So he has made solid contact, just hasn't gotten one to clear fence. And we know the pitcher stinks. We know it's his fastball. So I do think that it's worthy taking 3 lefties on the Padres. So of the 5 guys that I have, and we can just quickly do a recap. If one of Merrill, Wood, Sheets, or Cronenworth hits a home run, we're guaranteed to be green. Granted, it'll be slight, but we're guaranteed to be green. If it's just Torkelson, we'll be slightly in the red. Now, I'm only putting 0.1 units on all 5 of these guys because I'm not getting caught with my pants down in a weird slate with the first day back. So I'm only risking a half unit total. Maybe, if we have a good day, I'm going to wish that I played it heavier, but I do think that playing your sample size light, your unit size light is important just in the long run. But these are the 5 guys: Merrill, Wood, Torque, Sheets, and Cronenworth. Again, if it's one of the guys in the Padres-Nats game, guaranteed to be profitable for the day, albeit slightly, but still. If it's just Torque, we'll be slightly in the red. My 3 favorites are these top 3, Merrill, Wood, and Torque. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure to bet responsibly. Of course, thanks for watching, and have a good one.